If you are familiar with the carry world, you know that silhouette, and it is the Tom Bihn Synik 26. It is the big brother or the newer version of the Synapse, which is just an absolute classic from Welcome back to another review by Dave Sam. It's your boy Dave Sam, and today we're taking a look at the Tom Bihn Synik 26 liter, which has quickly become one of my absolute favorite bags to use. Even though it gives off incredible dad vibes, major dad vibes, it is just such an incredible bag to use that it's hard to put it down. If you're new to the carry world and are unfamiliar with Tom Bihn, they are an absolute legend in the carry world. He started the company over 50 years ago because he basically couldn't find something in, 1970, 1972, couldn't find something that was tough enough for his outdoor adventures. Now, over 50 years later, they still maintain that kind of rugged spirit based in Seattle where they make every single bag. This specific bag, the Synik, is a revamping of one of their all-time great design backpacks, the Synapse, which came in a 19 and a 25 liter. So this is slightly different in size, but if you look at the front of it, it's identical. The major difference really is that the Synapse is a quarter or a half zip, so it only comes down to, let's say, like about here. Whereas the Synik is this full kind of clamshell or this long clamshell, so it folds completely out or completely open, which you'll see here in a second. They also modernized it in a couple of other ways by adding things like a luggage pass-through and a dedicated laptop entry or exit, right? Like a dedicated laptop compartment with its own zipper. Now, honestly, I've been living out of the Synik for multiple 2 to 4 to 5 day even trips. Now, on the heavier side of that, then when I go over that 3-day mark, really when I go over that 2-day mark, so hitting 3 to 5, or the Synik becomes my secondary bag that I bring on the plane, keep all my tech in, but I regulate all my clothes and shoes and any other stuff if it's a 3 or 5 day trip to usually a roller luggage, but occasionally a duffel as well. I'm going to tell you why this is one of the most comfortable bags I've ever used and also has one of the more, let's say, annoying features that comes with a bag like this. All right, a couple of things just to get out of the way. The Synik, not an incredibly cheap bag, especially at this 26 liter version, is going to run you about $375. Now, if you want to spend a little bit less, you can go for this smaller version, which I also have, a 22 liter version. Great, but if you're my size, I'm about 6 foot, 195 pounds or so, right? Pretty broad. This is a little small for you. It's definitely going to look like a turtle shell, especially in this green, on your back if you're about my size. So this 26 liter is a fantastic size for my size and weight. Really just like completes my back, if you will, more than sits really small or sits too big. The really great size at 26 liters. But again, 375, the 22 liter is 330. I believe the 30 liter is a little over $400, $405, something like that. So little variable in price based on what size that you want. That being said, there are no differences between these bags other than every compartment just being slightly bigger, basically, based on that size comparison. This is the Guides edition, which functionally has ballistic nylon, also has ripstop fabric in one of the colors. So it looks kind of like a grid fabric. Almost comes off like an X-Pack, if you will. Really cool, lightweight. This ballistic nylon is a little heavier duty, so can handle, I would say, quite a lot more as you're thinking about what you're gonna be doing with the bag. Across the bag, across all of the zippers, they use these YKK zippers, and you can hear how loud they are. Even when I just grab the 22 liter, it just shakes so much. They are really nice to use overall. There's just so much sound, especially when they're on your back, right? You can really hear these zippers just clanking around on each other, on themselves, whatever, right? You can just hear them nonstop. Like I mentioned, right, on the back, what's nice now is they have this integrated laptop sleeve here, which works really great. It's super wide, so it's really easy to fit on top of most luggage. I've been using this Peak Design one that I reviewed a couple weeks ago, which again, so thin right on the back. something like this slips on top of that super easily. Really nice design for how this laptop sleeve works. I love that it kind of spans the entirety of the bag. You have zero worries as it is on that bag about it kind of falling off or losing balance or any of that stuff. It's just so well secured here. And as far as this one goes, it is the black, and because it is the Guides edition, it has these coyote accents everywhere, which are really nice. I really like the coyote accent generally, or coyote bags. That green and coyote is one of my all-time favorites. This black and coyote, really nice. If you look at the website, you'll see there are various color options, which are really nice. Gives you a lot of versatility, so you can fit the bag into your wardrobe, into your style, mostly, right? It's still gonna give off this vibe, but at least the color will fit into your wardrobe and your style. So, what are some things that I absolutely love about the Synik? First and foremost, these straps are just incredibly comfortable. Right? You can see how thick they are and how well padded they are. When you actually put this bag on, they're just super soft to the touch. So on your shoulders, I don't want to say barely feel them. Obviously that's dependent on the weight, but they're just so comfortable because they're so well padded, right? It feels that that suspension feel on your shoulders. Even when you're bouncing around, it's just very well cushioned. So you never feel like it's cutting into your shoulder, which is really nice. They call these edgeless straps because they pull all the way around here, right? As you can see, they pull on both sides all the way around. So you never feel the seam on your back anywhere, no matter how you're wearing the bag, right? No matter how it slips, that seam is always sitting up on the top here. So it just keeps it a little more comfortable, really thoughtful, edgeless design, as they call it. Moving to the complete other side of the bag, and this is something that is kind of its signature, if you will, right, is the way that these pockets are laid out on the Synik, the Synapse. It's the upgraded version, as I've been saying, of the Synapse. When you look at this 5-pocket layout here, you have just a complete and utter taking up of this full part of the bag, right? The front flap has its own dimension, so it is just magic to pack out this front portion of the bag. Like I've been saying, I can take it in these 2 and 3 day trips because so much of my tech fits in here in this front portion of the bag, and then everything else I can get into the main compartment. So let's go over it just at least a little bit here. On the bottom, catch-all, easy to keep, something like my tech kit in here. This is just like simple Evergoods 0.5 liter tech kit for essentials only, basically, right? Like brick, few cables, maybe a secondary brick or item like that size, but just the essentials. Fits kind of perfectly in this pocket and leaves some additional room. So could fit other things in here, of course, right? You can see how much additional space is in here. You know, there's so much extra space of things that I could throw in here. One of the more versatile pockets, really like this one. Could be nice as well, just to like throw a bunch of your tech in here, or a bunch of big cables if you still carry one of those like bricks for your laptop. Great spot for that to be. Jumping into this middle compartment, you see this front one only takes up about this space. The back one is the one that takes up this bottom portion of the space here, so it angles through the back. We'll go to the front one first. This is one where I usually just keep kind of like a pair of headphones, simple headphones. My wallet typically will go in this one. And it is like my dump pocket, if you will, so I can take things out of my pockets and put in my bag. That's usually where I'm going to take the things from my pockets and throw them in. Just behind that, you've got another large compartment, goes all the way down from here, and it slips in behind this pocket and between these two here. This is for your water bottle. Really nice integration and design, or thoughtful design here. A lot of water bottle pockets are on one side or the other, typically hard to balance out depending on how big your water bottle is. This doesn't allow for a huge water bottle, but it's right in the center. So especially if you're hiking, if you're running through an airport, right, you're not gonna have that off balance or off center feel that a full water bottle can create. Now, on either side, you have mirrored pockets. They're almost identical. There's only really one difference. I'll open both of them. And when you look on the inside of this pocket, it goes super deep, right? It goes almost all the way behind this water bottle pocket. If you think of that as a V shape under here, right? This pocket goes all the way through. So I keep things like my cell phone, extra mouse, got my ID. We're gonna talk about this. This is a key leash, right? But this key leash here, it is attached via these O-rings, which I'm sure you've started to notice across each of the pockets. But functionally, this pocket is just so big. On the inside flap of the pocket here, You have a little slip pocket. This is perfect for a cell phone. So this is where I had my cell phone right here. Really nice, easy to slip something like that or this size directly in this slip pocket. Now, if we go to the other side, like I said, it's an identical pocket. So it's just gonna be a mirror, if you will. So it's gonna have that same V taper into the water bottle pocket, but it's gonna take up the entire other side of the bag, which is really nice. This side, I put in some additional tech. So you can see I can fit some backbone in here. I've got an Anchor. This is a 26,000 milliamp battery. So one of their new Anchor Primes, really nice to use. I will say my older ones, I made a video about the 12,000 milliamp one, crapped out. Just literally just gives me a suspended message, basically going, hey, we can't use this, or you unplug this right now, you can't use this thing anymore. I assume the battery went bad for some reason. Still went with Anchor because I love their designs. This one is a little bit heavy, but it's nice, thick. And again, 26,000 milliamps, so easy to fit in that pocket in addition to the backbone. So you can see how thick these two are together, and these both fit in that pocket super easily. Now on this side, have another Tom Bihn accessory that I just keep a couple of small tech accessories in, also connected via an O-ring. Now you'll notice this from Tom Bihn. Basically all their accessories have this type of attachment, and a lot of their bags have these O-rings in them distributed across the bag. Basically across every single pocket, there is 1 to 2 O-rings at least, right? One of the main purposes of the O-ring attachment for these accessories, which is really nice, especially if you're camping or you're in places with low light and you don't want to be ruffling through your bag, dropping things in an area where now you're going to have to start searching for those things in the middle of the woods, or again with like a flashlight, right? So this kind of helps prevent you from just taking things out and putting them out or putting them in different places. It allows you to have different things in these pouches, and then you can just go to the specific pouch without detaching it from your bag, which is again super helpful in low light, and just getting what you need and then zipping it back up and having it nice and easily put away. Now the other main difference, or the last difference across these two pockets, like I said, they're identical other than this, is that instead of one big slip pocket, this has 3 larger pen to small knife sized slip pockets that you can use a little more specifically than you might use that larger pocket for bigger, diverse things. One thing to call out about the Guides Edition is that it has this ring here so that you can attach some leash here. It also has this. The way they use it on the website is there is an attachment here that's a strap, and you see it as an ice pick attachment. That's even what they call it on the website. I'm unlikely to need that, so I haven't attached anything to it. Doesn't look bad. I think, again, it's symmetrical, so to me it looks really nice. If it was off to the side and it looked a little bit weird or it didn't look as symmetrical, I wouldn't like it quite as much, I think. Moving to the main compartment, this one is a really nice compartment. Like I mentioned, it's a full clamshell, so you can see how much there's this own, you've got your own dimension from this bag or from the front flap of the bag. I only put my Evergoods 2-liter tech kit in here just to show that it can take some pretty big stuff. But like I mentioned, I've been packing clothes in here, extra pair of shoes, usually 2-3 days worth of clothes and a pair of shoes. Pretty easy to get that through. Now, one of the reasons it's easy is because it has these cinch down straps here as well. So as I'm packing out the bag, if I put a bunch of clothes in this back area with these cinch down straps, I can fit even more in here. Now, of course, it does get a little bit heavy as you do that, so just something to consider as you are packing the bag. And then lastly, within the main compartment here, you have this access to your laptop compartment as well. Now, on the front flap of the bag, you have this additional, just like major or big slip pocket, which is nice. And you have these 2 O-rings, which again, you can attach other Tom Bihn attachments to. Makes it really easy to get to your stuff without losing it again. Now, when you're thinking about taking the laptop out of this bag, it's just a small compartment, right? So one side compartment, there's also that one on the inside, but small side compartment. So you usually have to twist your laptop to the side and then pull it out like that. Of course, not like a deal breaker or anything, just a nuance of how to use that. It's not like a full easy slip, if you will. Requires that movement as you're thinking about how you actually utilize that slip for your laptop. Though it is really, really nice, it sits about an inch and a half up off the bottom of the bag. So it is suspended, which is really nice. All right, this is what the bag looks like on me. Like I mentioned earlier, about 6 feet tall, 193, 195 pounds. You can see one of my favorite things, right? Super comfortable on the strap. And then it really form fits to the back here. So it's really hugging everything from my upper, middle, and lower back, which is just super comfortable as you're wearing it, or for extended periods of time in particular. So I think it looks much nicer than that 22 liter, just because again, for my size, it fits so much more easily. Now, imagine you're walking through an airport or something, you're walking anywhere, and that noise is constant. Every single step that you take, you will hear that sound from the zippers. I will say it's one of the more annoying bag features I think I've ever come across. It almost makes it so that headphones are essential as you're using this bag, which I would argue I'm gonna be wearing headphones most of the time anyways. It's basically a function of all the people around me being able to hear me come like a cowbell, right, on my body, right? It's just announcing that I'm coming through wherever I'm going. So if you like to be a little more stealthy, the zippers could be a deal breaker for you. Second thing that it's not a problem, it's just an aesthetic issue, is these straps here. They have just unruly, right? I wish there was some way to have them be a little more organized. It would just feel nicer for me. So if that was possible, I would really love that. Otherwise, I could end up tying them like this. Maybe I put them through these top parts here. There's just too much strap is the bottom line. Like I think anybody who uses a chest or a sternum strap is probably gonna tie it pretty tight so that they can pull the straps out from under their shoulders, right? Or out from under their armpits here. So I don't think you need this much strap. I could probably just cut it off myself and reattach it, but who knows? Last thing, and this is really gonna depend on where you live, right? Thing that is a little bit troublesome. I live in Chicago, right? So all of these pockets on the outside, really easily accessible to anybody walking behind me. If I'm on the train, if I am walking in busy company, it is something to consider that somebody could walk behind you and give one of these, especially like I said, I am gonna be wearing headphones almost certainly while I wear this, right? It does create this kind of security paradox, if you will. So I don't necessarily think I would keep anything too important in this back pocket if I was gonna be walking through big crowds, if I was gonna be on the train for a couple of hours, right? And I thought I was gonna be standing, it was gonna be a busy time of the train. I might not wanna do that. Depends on the city you live in, of course, depends on how you travel. Just something to consider as you're considering this bag. Last thing, as you're thinking about things that are maybe not so great about this bag, and like I mentioned, this is for camping, right? Or it's meant to be an outdoorsy bag to an extent. If you look at this harness system, as I mentioned, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Love the straps, love this integration in the back here, but if you look at this, even this perforated area, this slight padding here, comfortable until it's not. And what I mean by that is, the hotter it is, the more sweat builds up on your back. Like I said, it form fits all the way to your back, right? From the top to the bottom. There's very little breathability. This perforation does nothing, in my opinion. So, hotter it is, the more you sweat, the more you're gonna feel it on this bag, the more it's gonna make you hot, I think. And then it's also gonna just absorb all that moisture. I took the 22 liter on a camping trip. Awesome for distribution, for carrying food, for having extra coffee, like anything that you need. It was great to have the bag, right? But actually carrying it, especially I had a camera and a couple other things in here, actually carrying it, I found my back was just soaking wet. So again, if your plan is to use it on camping trips, especially in hot weather, just know it is gonna be just like a sweat magnet. It's gonna be a sponge overall. So who is this Synik for? If you are somebody who is traveling through either airports or by your own car regularly, this might just be a fantastic bag. It's got unbelievable pocketing. It can last for a couple of days as you're traveling. Again, if you're going somewhere for a couple of days, if you're traveling through the airport, has room for all your tech. Really fantastic bag, lots of comfort, especially if you're not gonna be carrying it for hours on end or sweating for hours on end, right? Comfort in all places. all the padding that you could think of, really nice and comfortable bag. Secondary use case, and this is only because I've recommended it to a couple of new dads, I would say if you are looking for a diaper bag that's not screaming diaper bag or made specifically for diapers, and you could maybe use thereafter as a personal bag, or again, hiking, doing it in different situations, even if you are carrying diaper stuff, right? Or baby stuff overall, right? Again, the pocketing is what makes it so great for that type of thing, right? Lots of distribution, really easy to get all your stuff in here. Comes in variable sizes, so you could get the 30 liter if you really had a ton of stuff that you're bringing for kids. Maybe you have twins or something like that, and you need a ton more space. Really interesting bag to think through if you are maybe a new parent or a parent of young ones, and you are bringing tons and tons of stuff with you for them. All right, who is the Synik not for? I mentioned if you are a city walker, a train traveler, you're finding yourself standing, again, in big cities with big crowds pretty frequently. I wouldn't bring this to a music festival, any of those types of things where you just don't know who's around you. You don't know what type of thing is going to be happening all the time. And there are just known areas where there's thievery, if you will, right? Probably not the bag for you, or not the bag that you're gonna want, right? So if you are a commuter by foot, hitting trains, walking through busy crowds every single day, I'd probably look at something else. There are tons of other bags that provide a much higher level of security and really high utility. Let me know what you think of the Synik in the comments below. I think it's one of those bags that isn't really trying to be cool. It's trying to be functional and utilitarian, and I kind of love that, especially because it does have pretty cool colors. Overall, it is really comfortable, and it is just like a nice, joyous bag to use from start to finish. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I said, while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, get notified of new videos from your boy. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.